U2TV post-game report here with the winning coach for Bethlehem Eagles. You guys took down a very good Niskayuna team today. You played solid, you played strong. What was the game plan coming into this? You got Danny Smalls, you got Olsen kid in there, you got Gilson shoot threes. Tell me what the game plan was.
Well, we were obviously aware of those three guys. Fantastic scorers, really good players. We tried to mix it up. We're not usually a big zone team, but we thought if we tried zone, maybe we'd throw them off just a little bit. We thought we could account for people, kind of a hybrid zone more or less, but we didn't want to lose track of certain guys that can kill you. And then we were just trying to clog up the middle a little bit because Smalls is a fantastic downhill guy. We want to make sure he didn't get to the rack too easy.
Yeah, you're right about that. Now, your guys played wonderful. You had Kieran, who's U2TV played the game. Yeah. You had LaClair, who's just fascinating with the ball at times, man. He does some wonderful things with that ball. But that last defensive stance down there was amazing with foul trouble. Tell me about his character, his will to win, and everything else that goes into that type of play at that moment.
So he's very aware of what he can do and what he can't do. Controls his body very well for a big guy. Not super fast, but understands, like when you tell him, like, Cam, you're going to go back in, you cannot foul. He's like, Coach, I will not foul, I promise you. And he does a good job of playing straight up and, maybe leans on a guy a little bit, but very good at finding a rebound. Pretty good leaper for a guy, that's around the hoop, and just a smart player.
Yeah. Now, talk about Kieran. He's a young guy. He controls the ball a lot of the time.
Yeah.
You trust a lot of him. Talk to me about that trust you have in him.
Well, he's a fiery young man, a student of the game. Usually when we go into film, he's the kid that, we'll ask, like, well, who's watched some of these films we posted on Huddle, and he's like, Coach, I've watched those. I've watched ones on Umoja. I've watched this one. I've watched that one. He's watched them all, so he's a student of the game. So when we tell him, like, hey, you're going to, this is what we're going to do today, he doesn't question it. He just does it. And he might be only a sophomore, but he plays like he's a senior. So.
100%. Hey, Coach, it was 58-50. They went on an 8-0 run. The gap, 58-58. What was your message to your team at that point, and what were you thinking?
Well, we made a lot of mistakes in that range there. We missed 2 free throws, and then we turned the ball over again, and then we didn't play good defense. So we were just like, all right, that's the run. We made mistakes. We don't want to make these mistakes again. Here's how we're going to clean it up. And just settle them down. That's the big thing. A lot of timeouts, just trying to settle your guys down a little bit and understand that, like, every team goes on a run. We went on a run, they went on a run. It kind of goes back and forth, and whoever holds on at the end, especially in big games like this, is going to be the victor.
Now, talk to me a little bit about down the stretch. You came out, you was playing primarily zone like you talked about, but then towards the end of the game, you went man to man. Then you went downhill, got a layup. You came back out. I said that maybe you go back to zone. You obviously went back to man. Was the goal to kind of clog the middle if he penetrated again?
Yeah, we had a couple guys we weren't worried about them shooting any deep shots, so we said those guys could slack off a little bit. And the one time the guy didn't rotate over, that's why Smalls got downhill on us. But we did not want to get, we don't go very deep in our bench, so we didn't want to get guys in foul trouble, so we tried to go back to the zone as quickly as we could. But we knew just to mix it up a little bit, we'd go man.
Now, you subbed LaClair late out in the game, I thought, for defensive purposes. Was your thought process also maybe thinking overtime is possible, and I didn't want this kid to foul out prior to overtime?
You mean with like 9 seconds ago?
Yes.
Yeah. So the idea was we were hoping our guy was going to make the second free throw, which he did not. But if he made the second free throw and we were up 3, we wanted to foul to put him on the line. We didn't want to let them run down and shoot a 3. So Cam with 4 fouls, we thought get him out. Let somebody else get the foul, and we'll get him right back in. But obviously, he missed the free throw, so that didn't go exactly according to plan.
Got you, Coach. Now, looking at the prospect of everybody and looking at the field, what do you like your chances are, and against some of the other competition out there, and where you guys are at right now at this juncture going into the latter part?
Well, I think we had a little wake-up call on Wednesday. That we're not invincible. For us, that was a tough loss for us against April Park. I think we're always a threat. I think we have 2 legitimate players, and we have a lot of good supporting cast that are willing to understand the roles of those guys and what their roles are. And that's one of our big things is know your role, accept your role. I think we got a good chance. I think we got one of the best players in the area. I know not everybody will agree with that for different reasons, for whether it's flashy or whatever, but I know Kieran was player of the game, had a great game, but I do think Cam's probably one of the best players in the area.
Yeah, 100%, Coach. Good job, Coach. You always do a fine job having you guys prepared. I'm quite sure they get prepared going into the playoff part of the season. Oh, my last question.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about the new rule with the free throws, and how do you strategize a little bit as a coach, or is there any strategy in it?
It's definitely different. I think it speeds the game up a little bit. You know, that was a tough one there because, like, when they had to foul. Did they have one foul or 0 fouls when they had to start fouling?
One.
Yeah, one. So they had to hit us 4 times.
4 times, right.
Okay, so you only have so many based on out of bounds plays. And
Right.
if you're running it and they're fouling, you're running foul, you got to run something different. I usually wouldn't burn timeouts to adjust out of bounds plays, but we had to because we're not at
Right.
that point. Now, understandable, I guess it could be the same way if the old system of 7.5, but
Right.
it does change things quite a bit. And sometimes we're not real upset when a guy fouls, like later in a quarter, because you got one to give anyway. So why not? It's not gonna end up with like a double bonus later in the game. You might as well, in the third quarter, if you could hit a guy a couple times,
Got you.
slow the game
Yeah, that's
down
a
or
good
whatever.
point. That's a good point.
You do that.
You knowing that you're going to reset when you go into next quarter.
Correct.
I haven't thought about that strategy. I'm glad I asked that question. Great job, Coach.
All right.
As
Thank
always.
you.